Good to see you guys.
We're always open to feedback. So anything we can be doing to make this even more valuable, please give feedback. And yet today I have a super duper star. We all know her as KWB, Carrie B. Weiss. And she is a legend in our company for many different things that she's accomplished with her phenomenal husband. And they're kind of legends in our company because they're always performing and always having success and changing and pivoting as needed. And so we're just having a conversation with Carrie B today to really talk about how she does this and how she continues to evolve and how she gets referrals. So feel free to chime in or ask anything today because she's a wealth of knowledge. So without further ado, Carrie B, thank you for being here.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here for you guys today. I want to give you as much value as possible. And I'm just going to start and tell you a little bit about me so that you understand where I'm coming from. I've been a team leader for 17 years. Yes, 17 years, and I am still sane a little bit. I love this opportunity that this company has given us, and it really is a true leadership company when you really step back and look at it in all aspects of our lives. And I've always taken that piece as a leader very seriously when I'm leading others into different conversations, into different parts of their brain to get them to see what they need to see in order to get what they need and want, right? So I do things a little differently. And how I've been in this role for so long is because I've allowed things to be done a little differently. So Gary always says, follow the model. I am a huge proponent of the model. I follow the model. I do get creative on the model when it comes to once it is built. And so I'm just going to share how I built this market center through people. I don't cold call. I hate cold calling. I love to cold call. I won't say that. I hate cold calling because if as a leader I have to cold call, then I believe that I haven't worked through my associates. I'm working around my associates. And so that's really my biggest passion, is not to have to pick up the phone to introduce myself to someone for the first time without having a relationship in my market center with that person. And so that's really where I started. How can when we launched this market center, my husband and I were 30% investors in the market center. I did about 40 transactions a year as an agent. I was at Remax. We had a good team. We were kind of like looking around thinking, like, what are we doing with our lives? And we stumbled upon this opportunity called Keller Williams. I read the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. One thing led to the next, and I Googled Gary Keller and found out there was a company. I had no idea. None of it really, I didn't really correlate. Plus, I never read the back piece of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. I just read the workbook part, and then I stopped when it got to the testimonies. So I didn't really understand that it was built with agents' models. I just thought this guy was brilliant. And so I Googled him and pushed a little button that said, are you interested in learning more? And some guy from Texas called and invited us to go to a family reunion event. And my husband went, and he called me from Mandalay Bay, which was 17 years ago. And he called me and said, we have to do this company. And I said, well, why? And he goes, well, everybody's nice and they share, but not just because of that. I can't compete with this company if it comes to our area. It has everything that me as an agent and as a business owner wants. And I thought, okay, so here we go. So he came home from Mandalay Bay. And I have to tell you a quick story, very funny. Mike Brody is our sponsor, and Mike was our regional director, who's interim regional director at the time. So he's the person that was introduced us to Keller Williams. So how awesome was it that when I pushed that button, that man called us back and gave us this amazing experience to learn. So we learned from one of the top people, attracting people to the company, which kind of set us at a spot of that's how you do it. You work through people, right? We were 30% investors. We had another independent here at 60 agents. So we were about 74 agents total when we were launching our market center. New York State is a franchised state, meaning when you open a franchise, you have to be approved by the state. And there are certain times in New York State where it's dark. We call it dark, where they don't approve franchises, where you can't submit an application for a franchisee. So it was a dark period. So from April to the end of June, we were in a dark period. So we didn't launch with 73. I have to tell you the story first. Don't jump with me. So we were dark. The gentleman that had us, so we had 30% ownership, he had 50% ownership, and we had a small other person that had 20% ownership, 3 different brokerages, basically. We were all Remax agents. So there were 14 of us, all cappers, all Remax agents, running little teams, and we were ready to go. Independent had 60. In the middle of the night, he felt something different. He said, this doesn't feel right. And that's what he would point to his Keller Williams shirt. This doesn't feel right. I'm going to go back. So I walked in the next morning after we had a meeting that night, and everybody's licenses were getting changed. Back then in New York State, we didn't do it electronically. We did it through paper. So he had 60 people's licenses, and they're these yellow pieces of paper, and he's signing every single one to go back to his brokerage. So we went from 74 agents to 14 agents in one day. About 3 days later, I get a phone call from Mike Brody and said, congratulations, New York State is they've approved your franchise. And I said, well, that's great because we have 14 agents. And actually at that time we had 19 because 4 of them came back, or 5 of them came back from that brokerage. So we had 19.
Let's take a break there. There's so much that you shared already, and that's amazing. So you fell in love quickly with KW. Mm-hmm. Your husband gets the KW experience at one of our large events, so you can really feel it. So you guys are all in, and you go from 74 agents to about 19. How do you regroup there? Talk to us there, because some of the leaders here are relaunching, and there's a great lesson there. So what did you guys do to pivot?
We had to have a conversation with ourselves. Do we believe in this company? Do we believe what this company has to offer others? Because this is not a selfish company. That is what I've realized. This is a giving company. So we went from 74 to 19 people, and we launched. So that was July. We launched September 1st with 55 agents. So we went from 19 to 55. All of those people were not in the company at any time. We had to go find them, attract them, explain what we were building, what the vision looked like. And we had this horrible location. It was like a launching total. We called it the Bat Cave. It was so like just ghetto. I don't know how to say it any other way. It was a messy, messy mess. And it was all we could afford. So we had this huge space with not many people on the second floor of a shopping center. It was people are looking at us like, what are you talking about? You're not going to be the #1 brokerage in the Capital District. There's no way you're going to get to 200 agents, let alone 300 agents, let alone 400 agents. There's no way you're going to do that. So everyone told us that we were insane. And we just believed that how we could help people in their business was to educate them. And so all we did was go out there and educate. And we called everyone we knew at KW that we had met through FSO, through everything. Dave Jenks came out here and he taught for us. And so what we did, we were really purposeful about giving events for that 75 days that we had to launch. So we did one event every 2 weeks with a KW celebrity, that we invited. And we just kept bringing people. And that's really what allowed us to kind of, get to the 55. So we started in our first year, we were number 5 in our MLS for volume. The next year we were number 3. And we've moved up, and now we go back and forth between number 2 and number 1 with about 16% market share in the Capital District and a little over 440 agents.
So massive growth spurt that you had, you guys leaned into your differentiator, which was education, right?
Absolutely. And that is our differentiator. It's going to always be, we're a training, educating, consulting firm always before we're a real estate firm. My husband and I came from a restaurant background. So we had 30 employees when we opened KW. So we already knew what it was like to lead people. It's a little different leading employees that are waiters, and we had a microbrewery. So we had a brewing staff, and we had a back of the house kitchen staff, a CIA chef, excellent gentleman. But it's very different managing money and people and time, and then going into real estate when everyone doesn't want to be managed, their money, their time, or their people. And so it was bringing that conversation of, we can get what we want, all of us in life, by helping others. And that's what we did. We just helped people build businesses and taught them to think like a business owner. And once we became known as the people that people go to because we're business owners, the law of attraction started helping. We built the cappers here. We didn't have the followership in the beginning, so we built them. We're at 82 cappers in the market center. And that's really where I spend my time as a team leader. I consult every Thursday. My consulting schedule is packed. I start at 7:30 in the morning. I go till 3:30 in the afternoon, and I have 20 to 25-minute coaching sessions every Thursday with my producers. When I hire somebody into the company that is a producer, I meet with them weekly, and then they go weekly for 2 months, weekly. And then the third month, they go to the monthly schedule and they get put into my calendar on Thursday. And there are people that don't want to meet monthly. There are people that want to meet quarterly. There are top agents that are like, I'm good. I got my MAPS coach. Just check in on me. But you need to establish that relationship by becoming the consultant. So when they think of growth, they think of you. What do I need to do? I need to go talk to my team leader. They're going to help me with the next step. And when you become that person, then it naturally is just go see Carrie. Just go see Carrie. Go talk to Mark. If it's about money, go talk to
You're
Mark.
like the ultimate role model to them. And you're creating that environment of anyone that wants to level up as a leader and a business owner, they're in the right world to do that.
Absolutely.
So you're changing lives literally. And in return, you earn relationships and connections, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. And I don't even have to really ask for referrals, because what they do is they say, I met this agent and they were where I was 4 years ago. And I know that you helped me get here. I would love for you to reach out to them. And I already told them about you, and they're waiting to hear your call. They're waiting for you. So when I pick up the phone and I call this person, they're like, yeah, I can't wait to meet. That's how you build a market center. It's through the people. They're the ones that are bringing you the opportunity for other people. And it's just like an agent's business. It's by referral. I don't want people this going out there and doing the recruiting appointment for me. Right. And I've really, really educated my associates that they really can mess it up unless they scuba dive, unless they ask all the questions and really listen. What I've learned is that everyone joins this company for a different reason. And typically that agent thinks that everybody else is joining the company for the same reason that they joined. And what we know as team leaders, right, Jess, we sit, we ask questions. There's 30 different reasons that people join this company. And when we project why they should join, it shuts somebody down to not even look at the opportunity of what it could be for them.
Yeah, it's really, and they have to feel it just like you guys did when you went to that family reunion. You can't unknow or unfeel what you do. So give me some advice. I want to be like you. I want to be a team leader by referral, but I don't feel super confident about all the models. And I never maybe sold real estate before. What should I start on, or what should I get confident in talking about or coaching around with my agents? What would you advise me to do?
I think the first thing I would advise you to do is to KPA your people. Or if the KPA is not available, is to really sit down and just do a needs analysis for what that person is looking for. And then finding where because we all have strengths. We're in this role because we have strengths. Finding your strength. If you can help someone around your strength, all the other things you're going to learn. If you interview all your top associates, go out and interview other brokers, ask a lot of questions, you'll be able to learn the models and what the best practices are by just immersing. It's just like an agent. How do you know what the house price is going to be? How do you know? You have to go out there, experience it. You have to go preview homes. You have to know what the neighborhood feels like in order to just have an idea of what the house is going to sell for. This is like that. Our business is just like the agent's business. Instead of looking for houses, we're looking for agents, right? And so how would an agent build a business? By referral, through conversations, by showing great value and starting small. And so for a team leader, we start with internal. We re-recruit the people that are here. We build those relationships. We create a very safe environment. As a team leader, we are told the most obscene things. You will know everything about everyone. And you can fail as a team leader by sharing everything about everyone. And so our opportunity is to be a therapist in the way of it comes in, it doesn't leave, right? When you can show that you are a person that can lead somebody without having to share their gossip, you become a safe place for everyone to just come to and give you. And what they give you is actually the words to help somebody else. And so that's what I've learned. The more I sit with people, the more value I get from them. Just what Gary does with us, right? Sits with the top agents, sits with the leaders. He shares with us what the leaders are doing. This is just like that. We sit with the top agents, we figure out what they're doing in their business. We ask a lot of questions. We see what's working and what's not. And then we go to the next and we see what's working and what's not. We don't give any prescription until we understand it all. Then we go back and say, hey, I was thinking about what you and I were talking about. What would it look like if we implemented something like this in your business, right? Or I heard this great idea from another agent. What about something like this? I'm very good at not saying this agent does this. I'm very good at just do you know what I mean? So I never put people
be what they're going to be, right? Let them hustle from
let them figure it out.
One thing I just want to bring up, Carrie, is when you're talking about what you do, you are so energized. And I just want everyone to hear that as much as I do, because you know you're doing good for others, and that those deposits you make come back to you tenfold, don't they? So it's fun to hear your energy. You know, as a former long-term team leader, I loved it too, that much all those years, because when you can make that impact, even if it's just teaching everyone about the lead gen model and the database, I mean, whatever you're comfortable with. So if I'm brand new to the role, what would I start with? MREA, Ignite? What would you suggest that I get with?
MREA all the way. I still read it every year, maybe twice a year. It's pretty bad. I mean, you were at the CEO Summit. You saw Tony stand up on stage. He has the pages memorized, right? As a coach, we need to know where to go to give the help. Understanding the models and understanding, I actually would say really understanding people's behavior profiling, so that you can help encourage them. What people are most afraid of, figuring out what they're afraid of, will help you as a leader keep them moving forward, so you can kind of put what they're afraid of behind them and make them move away from it. And so that's a skill. Listening is a huge skill. Not talking over somebody when you're in a meeting. The pause is the most important part. I used to want to fill the pause as a leader. Not filling the pause is where the juice comes out. You hear so much more when we're quiet. Tell me more about that. What does that mean to you? How would you do that differently? I think when we stay curious and we ask a lot of questions, the relationship automatically happens, the trust happens, and then the referrals happen. And that's really it. It's just helping your people get what they want. And by listening and really being a true leader and allowing people to fail. I think my team, my leadership team, I drive them crazy because I can tell it's like an ALC, right? Sometimes your ALC is awesome. Sometimes your ALC is not awesome. It really depends on if that leader is passionate about what they're leading. The same thing happens when we're hanging out with a lot of these team leaders that are running these businesses. They're passionate about a piece of it. So how do we help them with the other piece that maybe they're not happy, they're not good at? So the leadership team is the same thing. I've got people that have great strengths, yet their role may require them to do something that's out of balance with who they typically are. And I know that, yet I'm going to allow them to fail to learn a lesson as long as it doesn't harm everyone. And so a lot of the times they're like, well, did you know that was going to happen? I'm like, yeah. They're like, well, why did you let it happen? I said, well, if I told you it was going to happen, would you disagree with me? Well, absolutely. Great. Well, I needed you to learn the lesson. What did you learn? So sometimes they'll come to me like, is this a lesson moment? Are you trying to teach me a lesson here? Because we do need to learn by doing. And it's okay to fail, because failure allows us to know what we did wrong and what we can do right. And I don't know, I just look at all of this as a leadership laboratory. I don't waste my energy. All right, this would be it. If I could give one piece of advice for every team leader is, and Diana Kokoska taught me this, don't think for people and don't solve their problems for them. If we as leaders don't think for them and don't solve their problems, you'll be a lighter leader, meaning you won't have all of this baggage of carrying everybody's business on your back. You're freeing yourself to allow them to be the person that owns it and to lead it. And so we just allow them you ask those questions so that they stay there and you don't own it. Does that make sense?
That makes total sense. And we know that if someone co-authors something with you, they own it, versus being told to do something, they usually fight it. So
Definitely.
Kind of goes in hand of evolving together. without you having to be the lid, right?
Yeah, I just ask the questions.
That's beautiful. Well, that helps you continue to grow as a group without burning out. You're continuing to scale by developing not only the agents around you, but the leaders around you. So cool.
I
Well,
do also
Mhm.
I do also believe in rewarding our leadership team in profit. So my entire team is bonused on the profitability of the market center, everybody, including the front desk person, because I believe that ownership in it creates more cohesiveness towards the goals. And when they understand that customer service for us is for our people, like they're our client, our agents are our client, their clients are their clients, right? But they're our client. How do we help them? And how do we show up? And it's got to be consistent. And it's got to be with love. And it's also got to be with a little toughness, right? A reality conversation. So we always
Care
go,
and candor, right? The care and
yeah, it's
candor.
that what Mo Anderson used to say, love, dagger, love. Like it's the Oreo, right? Hug them, stab them, and then hug them again. I don't think you need to stab them. I don't think she really meant it that way, but it's really like, you got to tell them the truth. People need to hear the truth. And I think the reason that we grow here is because we're right up front. This is not easy. This business, it's simple. It's not easy. And you definitely have to follow along if you really want to do this. And it's gonna be challenging, but let's go. We have a proven track record to take someone from a brand new agent to becoming a $3 million producer, a $6 million producer, a $9 million producer in 3 years. Would you like to go along this path? And if they say yes, then I say, great, these are the activities you have to do. If you don't want to do them, that's fine. You can have less than the 3 million or the 6 million or the 9 million. It's your choice, but your activities are going to give you your result. And this is what the activities look like. So not only do we do this, we do it all. Everything has a full disclosure. This is what you're getting into. It allows us not to spend time with people that are just spinning or think they want to play realtor. So we are a little bit more stringent. We do sit with a lot of people every month and we don't hire everyone. And it drives my husband crazy because we could put more numbers up on the board. But at the end of the day, I know that the people that really want this and are going to do the activities, I'd rather spend my time there than people that want to try it out.
So it's so awesome because when you're onboarding them and welcoming them and plugging them in, you're setting the expectation, like this is what it really looks like. And let's go for it. But it's
Absolutely.
up to you. So you're giving them the environment, but you're not owning their success. So one of the things that you said, I know several people also are curious, that when you bring in an experienced agent that you sit with them every week for a month or two, and then a little less, and then they get into the regular coaching rotation. I'm curious, do you do the same foundational things with their business with most of them to get them settled in with you? Or are each of those meetings totally different? Paint me a picture. If I'm one of those hires, what would we cover in those coaching appointments? And my goal is to give everyone some encouragement to get into a rhythm of doing this, because this really is a big difference to what you do.
I would say it's all the models that Jason taught us, the team leader models, the fundamentals. It's the economic model. It's really understanding, it's MREA. It's really understanding their business first. So I'm going to do a deep dive on their business. Usually in the recruiting appointment, I'll do a dive. I'll kind of figure out what they need. And then I'm going to attract them to the company based on that solution, because it's going to be different for everyone. When I get them in, I kind of already know this person's finances are a mess. Their work-life balance is a mess. They haven't taken a vacation in 6 years. So my number one goal would be a growth plan for someone like that, right? I need to show them that it's okay to schedule time. So I would work on them not working, which sounds crazy, but by them focusing on not working and really figuring out what they, what their real why is. I think a lot of us don't know.
Yeah, they almost need to be reconnected to their why.
Yeah,
Many people are on autopilot or survival mode and they're not dreaming. They're just, so I love that.
I had this $17 million producer joined and he's like, I don't have a why, I don't need a why.
It's like I will never have a why. Serious.
Right. I remember sitting with him and just asking questions. And honestly, he really doesn't have a why. His why, he loves the sport of real estate. He loves to compete. So for him, it was just, he loved to win. And I'm like, well, what do you do with the winnings? And he literally doesn't do anything with the winnings. He just like collects money. He's like that guy that collects money. And so when he had permission to have his why being, this is his sport, real estate is his sport, he started looking at life differently. And then all of a sudden, even though he was didn't take time off, now he's skiing. Now he took a 3-week vacation for the first time in his entire career. By the way, his business is insane. It's 4 times what it was when he joined. Actually, I think he did 130 million last year or something insane like that. So his life totally changed by just looking at life differently, because the sport of it for him was so important that he forgot all the people in his life. He wasn't married. He's getting married now. Like, so I don't know. I feel like a life coach more than a team leader, because the instrument of real estate is what we get to do. But the people are messy. And so everybody is different, and we have the solution for all of them. You need to know the models. You need to know all the models so that you can give the prescription, right? I was at a coach's skills camp once, and Diana Kokoska said, how does the magician pull the rabbit out of the hat? And the answer is, he put it in there. We have to put all the information in us so that we can give it. And so it's a lot of work for us, just like it would be for any job you get in. This is a consulting, training, coaching role as a team leader, and it's an attraction role. And the way to attract is to help others get what they want. And then in return, we get referrals. It's that easy.
You make it sound very easy. And yet, if someone isn't there yet, they haven't really earned that spot yet, and they need to get into a routine. Step 1 would read the MREA, get comfortable talking around the MREA.
And comfortable with the team leader models, the recruiting consulting model, the economic model, just so that you can understand the technology dive, like doing a deep dive in technology stack, what they're using, knowing the prices. I know that this is worldwide, so there's a lot of different things out there that everybody has in different areas, right? So for know what everyone is using. Interview agents everywhere. Don't recruit them, interview them. Don't ask them to join the company. Just ask them about their business. They'll ask you then you can just say, do you have any more questions? Or do you have questions for me? And they're like, I don't know. I'm like, well, I know a question that you can ask me. And they'll say, well, what is it? And you say, when can I join KW? I just mess with people. And sometimes they'll laugh and they're like, you know what? I do want to ask that question. What does it look like for me to be there? So you could go on an appointment and not make it a recruiting appointment. And at the end, you can still ask for a close, right? So that's how I learned. I just interviewed everyone. I started with our people, and then I went out. I found the top people, and I just asked a lot of questions. What does your team look like? What do you do in the morning? What gives you energy? Why are you doing this? What's the biggest challenge you ever had in your business? What's the most thing you're proud of in your business? What have you accomplished that you want to have engraved on your tombstone? I just ask crazy questions, just keep asking so that I can have a picture of why everyone's doing what they're doing. Then it helps me inform others. So I'm just constantly, I've got books of notes. That's all I do. I drive my people crazy. I'm like, I have written that. I got that somewhere. And so I'll get to that note, and then I'm like, yes, this person, this is their goal. This is what they want to do. This is what they want to achieve. Here they are year to date. I already know all the information because I asked all the questions. So I don't know.
Carrie, you're a total great example of an awesome team leader that is delivering on Gary's promise. And that is just fantastic. And I'm sure day 1, you weren't as dialed in as you are today. And yet you've given us a lot to start with, just to get going, because it does feel great to be able to deliver. What when you think of the market and the changes of the industry and all of that, what are things that you guys are working on right now for the market ahead?
It's a great question. I think we're trying to get reconnectivity in our market centers and looking at the different communities for our associates to be attracted to. And after COVID, we had a really good time during COVID. I know that sounds crazy, but our real estate office changed. We became very close. We did a nightly news. So we were online every night for about an hour with everyone. And during the day. It was a constant news breaks and anything that was happening, because New York State had probably the strongest, if not the worst. Maybe California was worse than New York, but it was insane. We were allowed to do anything. And we had to sell houses from our couch, right? So could you do it from a couch? That's basically the question. Can you sell a house from a couch? Well, we taught a lot of people how to sell houses from a couch. And in the Capital District, the area that I'm in, it allowed other companies to see what we were doing, because we led everything. We wrote all the disclosures for our boards. We got everybody going so that we could sell houses. What happened after that, when COVID changed and it was over, nobody really still is kind of weird about coming to events. And so right now, with the market shifting, as well as everyone kind of being back to what do, we notice that people like to be home a little bit more. So we're really being purposeful on what's on Zoom and then what's in the classroom, and then what events we're having and hosting and making them a little bit small. I also noticed that the Clarity, I don't know if you guys know about the Clarity community. There's a lot of people in our organization that may not want to be around alcohol or anything. And it may not be our people. It could be their partner that has a challenge with it. And so what we really realized during COVID is that we needed new communities that allowed places for people to feel connected. So I started a single moms mastermind, which took off. It went insane because we had so many single moms that had to parent their kids, teach their kids school, and stay at home and still provide money for their family. And so I saw that was a need. And the first thing I did was we did a weekly mastermind with all the single moms. And it started locally in our office, and then it blew up into our region, and it's still going monthly. And there's single moms that lead it. So what I would really say is create the communities that you can plug agents into, so that they feel that they have a sense of community. And it isn't just coming in to see the leadership team. You got to create all these little groups of people. And we're just creative. We just get creative about it. And every time we have a little group, like we have a sports group, we play softball. We're very competitive. We play corn toss, or whatever the heck whatever that game is called.
Cornhole. We have a fantasy football league that is.
We are very competitive people. So create little communities of competition that are fun, but also be very aware of the people that might not plug in, and find out why. Ask them why. That's really what I've done, is I've gone towards the people that don't plug in and say, what would you say yes to? What would you say yes to? And they're like, well, what if you did this type of book club? Awesome. Would you like to lead it? Okay, great. I'll help you promote it. Let's lead it. And so you just start small. Little communities are great. Creating different types of like office culture, like, I don't know what I would, just traditions, creating different traditions for your location specific to you is important. And then everyone tells everybody about those traditions, right? So there are a whole bunch of things that we do all year round that everybody knows. In November, I get to go into the office and get a pie for Thanksgiving. And we're going to give you cookies, and we're going to give you cider, and we're going to have a band, and it's just a constant, you build off what your vision is for those communities, and then you bring people in so that you can touch everyone at least 4 times a year.
Love it.
So that's really what I would say. Set up your game plan. What does it look like? What is that growth plan for your office? It could be growth/game plan, meaning in January, this is what we're doing. In February, this is what we're doing. And then financially, this is what we're doing. And numbers-wise, this is what we're doing. And cultural, which is probably right now the most important piece, is to feel that connection and figure out what you can do so that you're touching all the different types of people, including families. We do roller skating. We do a fun like theater night. There's just so much you can do. And there's a lot of it is free.
So it's beyond just Ignite and ALC meetings and team meetings. There's so much more to you guys. That's awesome. What about
that stuff's boring when you really think about it. And we changed the name of Ignite too, because it just, you start to kind of get sick of the words, right? And the words don't have as much impact. So like changing things up and making it a different word, or like, it sounds so simple, but a call to action on your training calendar, changing your training calendar up. It's just important to continually change so it doesn't feel tuned out, because they start to tune out. I saw a Mike Ferry thing the other day, and it said, he said up on stage at his event, this was the hardest that we had to work to get the least amount of people to show up at an event in my entire real estate career. That's what we're all up against right now. It's harder to get people to do things now than it ever was. And I think that COVID kind of made people feel that I don't need to go anywhere, I can stay home. So how do we as leaders attract people to plug in and stay energized and keep wanting to come back? So that's the question you should ask yourself.
That's a great question to ask. So you have one of the most profitable market centers. You guys are amazing. I know a lot of that's because you grow cappers. What does that recruiting pep talk sound like if I'm one of these new up and comers that look ready to rock and roll? What kind of expectations do you guys set so that I'm the right hire?
We really ask people, we really show them what it looks like to be an agent. I think if you really paint the picture of the day-to-day and the opportunity that it affords, you'll attract the right people to it. I think for top producers, it's a lot easier because this is what I say. If I see your face, I know you're going to be successful. If I don't see your face, then good luck, basically, because if you plug in, if we see your face, you get more business. We know that. We watch the people that come into Ignite. If you graduate from Ignite, you're going to be more successful. If you take Ignite back to back, that would be my highest. That's actually what I tell most of the people to do. Take Ignite, take a month off, and then take Ignite again. Because in the beginning, it's so much overwhelm of what you need to do as an agent that a lot of it doesn't, you don't absorb it. But if you take it, then you kind of go out and practice a little bit, and then you take it again, then you're more apt to be successful because your systems are a little bit more strong. You're building that platform. We always say this, you can't launch a rocket ship out of a swamp. And right now, Jessica, you are an amazing rocket ship without a platform to launch out of. So what we need to do for someone like you that is so amazing and has pure talent is to help you with that platform. What does that platform look like? Systems, models, and tools for you to be successful. Right now, you've got the natural talent. So let's add that support system so that you can even go higher up into the sky. Does that sound like a great idea?
Sounds like a very good idea.
And then I take that, then I draw out that platform and I add the classes that need to be taken in order for them to have that rocket ship launch. And so that visual, they know, I think they are a rocket ship, and they are a rocket ship. Depends on where they're going to go, though. They got to add the fuel, and they got to have the platform to be supported to go far. And that's really what we are. We're a platform company. We train people, we educate people, we teach them how to think like a business owner and how to go out there and take market share. And the only way you're going to do that is by going into the classroom and learning.
Love it. Yep. Okay. Does anyone have any questions they want to ask about anything? Otherwise, I'm just going to keep asking a few that I got. So one question is, when you bring on someone new, is there like a checklist of things they have to do within a certain period of time? Like, what does that like practical look like?
So we're really good at this piece. I call it passing the baton, and I inspect what I expect always as a team leader. That's something I have failed at previously and years ago, where I just assumed that I taught something that it was getting done. And when you grow a market center as the team leader, you know, I was the MCA, I was the team leader, I was the PC when we first launched. So I can do all of these roles. And slowly, as you grow, you can leverage. So for us, passing the baton, attracting someone in, we practice it monthly. You know, that sounds crazy, but it's a system, right? So when someone joins the company, whether they're a brand new agent or they are a capper or they are an R1, whatever they are, there's a different path for them. We know each path based on that person. And the passing of the baton is basically true. Let's have a pen, and this is a new agent. Step one, what happens? And we sit in a room and we pass the person with the system to the next person. So these are my tasks. After these tasks are done, then what happens with that person? And then the next person grabs the pen and they say, these are my tasks. And these are the steps for this person. And so we do everything through command. We do all the recruiting through command. All the pipeline is in command. We are 100% a command office. Our average agent has about 450 people in their database because we focus on it. So for agents coming in, it is designed for them. They know exactly, they get basically a book, right? And here are your steps. It's also online. Here are your resources. Everything has a video in case they need to do something and they don't, it's 9 o'clock at night. They need to write a contract. This is where it is. So in order for us to do that, we have to have the system running at a very high level to bring 10 to 15 people in a month, right? So if you're bringing in 10 people, every single person should receive the same attention and the same value, right? So we have to make sure that it's the same, and that's why I focus on it. Producers are a little bit different. Brokers are definitely a little bit different. I've brought in 2 brokers this year. I have another brokerage that I'm bringing in, and they're smaller brokerage, 10 to 11 agents, 15 agents. That's a different model to do. But with like a brand new agent, yeah, they have to go to orientation. They don't get a key to the office till they come to orientation. They don't get their signs or their cards ordered till they go through orientation. We really make sure that they understand their job before we even spend any money on them, including signs or cards. We give them 1 card, 1 sign, and I think it's free, but the cards we pay for, and they get a name badge, and they can't do that until they go through orientation. Ignite as well is a requirement for brand new agents. We have a productivity coaching program that we don't call productivity coaching. We call it new agent development. And the new agent development program is called the Collaborative, and all agents are required to go into the Collaborative for 6 full months or after 4 transactions. And so it's just part of our this is who we are. We believe in training. Everyone that joins is going to go into the coaching program, and you get a coach, and that's just the way it is. So it's kind of cool. So they get a coach. That coach helps them. Then when they go into the main population, then we have other team members that lead that group of people. And then of course I'm with the cappers. So there's always a leader for the different levels of the agents. And I think that is kind of the secret. We didn't really do that previously. I don't think the middle associates were getting the love. The new agents were getting the love, and the top producers were getting the love. And then this messy middle was just kind of like, what are they doing, right? Do they go out of the business? Do they become a capper? But how do we keep them engaged? And so we realized we needed a leader for that group of people. And so that's what we've done. We've created 3 different team leaders. So we have new agent team leader, we have career development team leader, which is the middle team leader. And then we have, the CEO, me, doing the top producers.
It's like there's a community for everyone.
Absolutely.
Well done. I mean, that's not only from feeling like you're part of something, but also your productivity team, almost in a sense. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
So Leona has a question from Albania. Does every new agent take Ignite, perform the activities related to the daily success system? How long does it take for them to go through that? What does that look like?
Awesome question. We took Ignite and broke it into, instead of the 20 sessions, we broke it into 10 sessions, and we just made them for 3 hours each. So they're 2 weeks, and we teach it every month. And we have a master faculty in the office that we pay for, train the trainer for every year, or train the trainer advanced. We have 30 people in our master faculty. That is also a community. We spend time with that community. We take them out to lunch. We do special things with that community. We also have capper communities. There's just communities. We do a capper dinner every month, right? So the people that capped previous month get invited to dinner with my husband and I the next month. And we do a group, they bring their spouse. Sometimes we have 10, 15 people show up to dinner, but it's a constant. There's a system for everything. But Ignite is mandatory. It definitely is mandatory. We do it during the day here. And then we do have a part-time new agent development coach that does nighttime. And then we do that quarterly. So Ignite at Night is taught quarterly.
Okay, you have a place for dual career agents. It's not that you don't, but you have a different coach for them. I
do. And that is new this year because it didn't work any other way. It's challenging when you have people that want to be a full-time agent, but they have a full-time job and they can't really get there until they retire or financial situation or whatever it is. So we had to make sure that we had someone, because those people feel they don't feel like they're connected with the market center. They can't come to the classes during the day. They can't really come to any of the events because they have a full-time job. And a lot of these people that come out of that part-time and become full-time become cappers. And so we don't want to say no to the dual career agents. And so we've created a community for dual career agents, and we're getting better at it. I would say that is probably our weakest opportunity right now, or our biggest opportunity, but our weakest link is that dual career. Because right now it's a little spongy, the market. And so a lot of people that came in full time that said they were going to be full time or now have a part-time job.
You're
And so we're
pivoting into a career.
we're pivoting. Yeah, we're pivoting quickly so that we can give them value. But everything that we do, our resource folder, honestly, is full of everything. They can watch Ignite on there. I think our resource folder for the Market Center has every how-to. If you get stuck, there's a link, there's a Loom video. We've spent so much time on the resources for our agents because we don't want someone to say, well, you never helped me. I didn't get help. I don't ever want to hear that. There's a system for that. And so that's kind of where that passing of the baton it came from. We needed to create the system for the piece that's missing. And what does that look like? And then we go back and we inspect it again.
You know what I'm hearing that you're doing that's unique though, Carrie, that I just want to bring up is, instead of getting your agents to fit into what you're doing, if they don't, and there's a group, you make a new community. It's not just making it work. And I think many of us, had a way of doing things and we made it work, or they left us, or they didn't join. And what you're doing is realizing what you just need, a different community and a specific community leader. I think it's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great job.
I do think are a little different. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jess.
We keep bumping into, so I'm sorry. Paraguay has a great question. How do you manage it when your top producers leave a market center? How do you handle that? Very different question. Who would like to know
how do I handle when they leave?
You have someone great leave you.
Typically someone great doesn't leave. If you allow your people to grow and give them opportunity and they see value, I've had people say, I would pay $70,000 for a cap if you were still my coach. It is never going to be about, if people leave, it's because they had a dream that they wanted to own their own business and not be a part of our platform. We celebrate them. We're happy for them. If they're not a cultural fit and they leave, we don't celebrate them when they leave, and it's okay. This company, I don't believe, is right for everyone. You do have to be a true servant leader to be here, even when you're a producer, because you need to grow people. And if you want to get anywhere in life, it's through people. And the only way to do that is not by hitting them over the head with a hammer. It's actually helping them get what they want. And so the only times we had a big producer leave, she was $120 million team recently, beginning of last year or the end of last year. And I attracted 5 other producers as soon as she left, because we didn't realize that she actually wasn't an attractor. She was a repellent. And as much like her business grew from 20 million to 120 million in 4 years by being here. Did she learn everything? Yes. Did she learn the systems, the models, plug in, do it all? Yeah, but she did it all, but she didn't really talk to the people here. She would travel and go to other KW places so that she'd learn from other people and not be vulnerable here. So we kind of knew that she wasn't really a cultural fit. But since she's left, she's lost about 70 million of her production. And in people, like they've left and they've come back, right? So I don't know. If we always do the right thing and you clap for everyone, the right people stay and the right people leave.
That's a great way of handling that question, because that's tough. April has a great question to get some advice on. How do you stay in touch with people that maybe left KW for whatever reason, but they're not having a great experience at their new choice? How do you stay in touch with them so that they will come back?
I always text them. That's it. I text them, I call them, I wish them a happy birthday. I tell them I miss them when I see them write a transaction, if I want them back, right? we're really good at bringing people back. What I noticed What I've noticed is that a lot of people that start in Keller Williams, they don't know what it's like out there. And they think that there might be something better when they get to a certain level. What I've realized is they need sometimes to go check it out. If we keep the door open and you treat them with grace when they leave, and you constantly follow up to make sure they're okay. Hey, just want to make sure you're okay and you found your place. Typically they'll say, can I come home? And they do, they come back, because it isn't all rosy and pretty out there. And what they don't realize is our systems are supporting our associates to capture and protect their business. When they go to another brokerage, typically their business goes down because the systems aren't protecting it. And so they don't realize how powerful our company is until they leave it. And the way I just wish them luck. I love on them. We do exit interviews for every single person that leaves the company. I would highly recommend that from day one. I did not do that day one. I had a huge opportunity of missing a lot of needs. Communities, actually, that's really where you find out what people need. And so exit interviews are as important as recruiting interviews. And so you take the notes, you ask for honest feedback, you make it the same, you sit with your team and you go over it and say, okay, how did we fail this person? What could we have done differently? Is there something that we could have done to help this person? Or maybe they weren't the right fit for us, right? But that kind of going back to that thing, Jess, about communities, the model's there. But Gary says you got to get creative on the model, right? We know what the model is of our company. We have great training. We have great education. We're going to help you build your team. We're going to teach you how to have life balance with work, right? We're going to teach you we're going to just teach you differently, right? And get you to think like a business owner. That's not taught anywhere else. And so we have to remember that really is our superpower of what we have to offer. And when they go somewhere else, if we just love on them, they will come back. They will definitely come back. And your people will be like, what are they doing? You know, they were like, what are they doing? Why are they doing this? I'm like, give them a call. Tell them you love them. Tell them the door's always open. And so I can do that with some of my associates too. You have that relationship that you kind of all are on the same side working towards something. There's never this. We set up all systems very transparently. Team rules. Here's the team rules. This is the team commitment. You want to run a team? This is the commitment. Here's my commitment to you. Here's your commitment to me. So there's nothing, oh, this person gets to do this way, and this person gets to do this way. There's no special deals here. It's all going to be done the same way. We're just going to get creative with your strength on the model, and that's it. So your opportunity is going to be what you're good at, and then we build that business around you. So I'm just constantly giving value, and I'll still call them. If they were a capper, I won't call them monthly to do a coaching call, but I'll call and I'll say, hey, what's the most important thing we talk about today? And they'll giggle and they're like, I miss you. I'm like, I miss you too. When are you coming home? How about today? Awesome. So if you had that relationship before, it's very easy to have that relationship. Just keep it going.
I love it. Great advice. You've given us so much. So if you just send us off in a powerful way, Carrie, what kind of challenge can you give us all to do? What kind of action should we take this week from what we got today?
I think the biggest challenge for us as leaders, as team leaders, is the energy piece. And what I kind of said before, don't think for people, don't solve their problems, ask great questions, and protect your time. That really is, I think, the success piece for a team leader. It's staying out of the drama, right? Rising above and leading and being a great example. I would say prospect in front of your agents. If you're a new team leader in a room and you're building a market center, go sit in the bullpen and prospect. Go sit in the bullpen and do things that are very similar activities that they are doing in their business so that they see you as the leader. If you need followership, that is the way to do it. Jump in.
Well, you're the queen of leading by example. And my aha from you today was, instead of trying to get everyone to fit in our communities, maybe we need more. I love it.
You don't, yeah. Get creative. We have a dry darts. Like, we have a lot of people that don't drink. So we do dry darts. We have dry, you can call it whatever you want, but we have oh my goodness, a trivia night. Insane. It's seltzer. We get seltzer at trivia night, but let me tell you, it's the most competitive trivia night in the world. It's a lot of fun. there's so much opportunity and so many beautiful people in your organization. And I guarantee there's a lot of people that want to create opportunity for others in a community that you don't even know that they're there. So ask a lot of questions and you'll find them. You'll find your opportunity. And it's the stickiness, right? That stickiness is what keeps people in the company. That stickiness is what makes them feel a part of a family. And when you help them get what they want, then they are a part of your family and they see that.
But you are a big part of our family, KW Worldwide. We love you. Thank you for giving to us. You've got
You're welcome.
notes in the chat. And if you wouldn't mind putting your contact info, if anyone wants to reach out to you directly, we really appreciate you, and congratulations on the success you guys have and continue to have. You are truly a legend. So thank you again. Appreciate you.
So are you, girl. I appreciate you. And I'm so proud of what you're doing. This is a beautiful opportunity for so many people to get some value in this community, right? Which it is what it is. It's a great example of who we are.
Love it. You guys have a powerful rest of your day. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank
See you soon.
you.
Thank you,
Bye.
Carrie. Thanks, Jessica.
You're welcome.